I know I've done you wrong, little darling. I've run around with everything in town. If you'll just tell me you'll forgive me, I'll make it up if it takes a hot.
And it's crucial to get good guidance to be successful if you want to take that plunge. Remember that others like you have come before you, and they have helped to create a network that can provide you a strong support system for a successful new life. But the initial tough love can be pretty tough. And that's because they're metaphorically trying to beat it into your head that there's a proven way to do this and to do this correctly. As addicts, we tend to be know-it-alls. And if you're like me, I'm a reformed narcissistic elitist. And I always had a problem with the very first thing that it seems to take. The willingness. It all starts with willingness. Can you follow what worked for the people that went through the same thing before you as you're going through now, that overcome what you're coming through now? They overcome this obstacle and they didn't self-destruct. And that's an example. It's an example that you can follow. Every person who succeeds creates more hope for those that follow. And you know, a rising tide floats all the boats. But you know, there's also, just like when you try to float on your back in the water, there comes a point where it seems like the water is fixing to come in your nose and you're going to sink. And if you jerk, then you'll never float. You'll sink, guaranteed. But if you can keep from acting on that impulse, if you can hold it down just long enough to make it through, you'll find that you float. And that feeling of almost not, well, that's going to go all the way to the threshold. That feeling of, man, it's not going to work, but somehow or another, at the last minute, if you trust the process, you float. And that's the same thing here. If you trust the process, you'll succeed. So this here curriculum is designed to ensure that those who are motivated and can take some suggestions and are willing to realize that they don't have all the answers can get a real chance to succeed. And in their turn, those success stories can be an example for those that follow. If you're like so many other people who have recently decided to make a major change in your life by giving up anything that's painful, drugs, alcohol, boyfriends, girlfriends, that pheromone lock, that really nasty sex that feels so good that results in you catching charges every time, or getting stolen from, or just that feeling of emptiness. Well, if you're deciding to make a change, you're probably feeling a mixture of excitement for the future as well as apprehension that things might not go as planned. Don't let the apprehension override the excitement. Just do it. What follows is what you need for a foundation. Now we're getting into the nuts and bolts of the situation. You probably already know that getting better is really hard work. You may also be aware that many people experience setbacks on their journey. But there are strategies available that are designed to help keep folks on track. Following these strategies early on is the best thing to set up some new habits and get some new foundations. And this applies whether you want to get better from codependency or drug addiction. So remember the 5 tips from earlier? If you don't, that's okay. Well, those 5 tips are what helped other people change their life. And you'll probably find them useful too, like I said before, as you move forward. They were mentioned briefly in the other video, and now we're going to look at each one in turn a little closer. These are all pre-step things that even those without addictions or hang-ups should do if they find themselves drowning under a flood of depression or start feeling less than. So we're going to look at those now. The very first one is craft a structured schedule. If you don't do it, the state will. They will put you in an institution, and by God, you will have a structured schedule whether you like it or not. Or there are worse things than being locked up. You could end up in a wreck that paralyzes you and puts you in a nursing home where you have a structured schedule of bathing, etc., etc., etc. So what you want to do is craft you a structured schedule of your choosing. Now, a structured schedule, including 12-step meetings for the addicts, adds a purpose and cohesion to your day, and it helps you to manage the goals in your life. Lifestyles that are characterized by chaos and disorganization will probably stand in the way of your recovery, because most people find that structuring their schedule around daily as well as weekly activities is really the best course of action. And that's because it gives you a sense of discipline. You know what to expect. You're not operating out of fear anymore when you do that, at least not to a degree. There's a YouTube video called Make Your Bed. Navy SEAL tells how to succeed. I'm not going to tell you what the URL is, but if you're motivated and you want to be successful in your recovery, you'll look this up. Google it. Make Your Bed. The Navy SEAL tells you how to succeed. This is a great video that goes through and tells the benefits of structured environments and the pride that one can feel as you get going and you succeed in it. Catch as catch can will really, really mess you up. It's very hard to be in recovery or to get better from anything living in chaos. Pillar to post is difficult. Structuring your time gives you a place to be. It gives you a schedule. It gives you a reason to say no to those sudden friends that show up and go, hey man, let's go do this. And you know what? It's a great idea. If you want to catch some charges, if you want to continue to lose your family, if you want to end up feeling the pain that you felt before that you're trying to escape. So the very first thing we're doing on substance is craft a structured schedule. What kind of structured schedule would be the most beneficial in your life? After you watch Make Your Bed, the Navy SEAL tells you how to succeed on YouTube. Go through and look at your life. Write it down. Where am I structured and where am I not? How many times did I not go where I was supposed to be, even though I started out with the best of intentions? I didn't show up because of my addiction, because of my hang-ups. For whatever reason, you were unable to meet your duties and your obligations because you allowed your appetites and desires to overwhelm you. Write this down and look at it. Now then, write up a schedule that takes into account working, that gives you something to do structured in the afternoon, that gives you something to do in the evening, all the way up to bedtime, and get your routine down. Write it down as specifically as possible. Keep it with you and check it off every day. When you were a little kid going to school, I remember I used to have to wake up at like 6:45. I had to be out to meet the bus at 7:30. We were in school at 8:15. Homeroom was over at 8:30. We started classes. At the end of the day, I would come home. I would have a snack, do my homework. When I was a teenager, I would then go to work to the evening, come home, go to bed, wake up, and do it again. And that structure did not give me much time to pilfer around, to be lonely, to be bored. So craft a structured environment for yourself. Craft a structured schedule, rather. Write it down. Look at it. Work on that. Get some structure in your life. The first thing you need. Thank you.